all my friends and family were telling me that I was a hypochondriac and joking, and like I'd get a headache and I'd be like, oh my god, I've got a brain tumour, and everyone was just taking the mick basically. So I found the lymph nodes and I went to the doctor, and he told me that it was probably because I had an infection.
In all, we actually went to the GP 5 times, but that was seeing 3 different doctors. I think it was on the second visit that the doctor referred us to the local hospital. So we went to the local hospital and had an inpatient stay for a few days, but they, again, just assumed it was constipation and gave a treatment for that. They didn't do any other tests or scans. The specialist, obviously, I don't know what they saw, but was obviously very concerned and booked her in for an MRI the following day.
So I kept going back probably around 6 or 7 months to the same doctor at the same surgery, and he kept telling me that there was nothing wrong, that I was fine and it wasn't cancer, and I was just being too worried about it. It was sort of a relief more than anything. Obviously I was upset, but I knew that something was wrong and now it was getting dealt with, so it was more of a relief than anything else.
They took us into a room and basically said that it was a malignant tumour, which just completely floored us. Just hadn't even considered cancer as being a possible option. I think I likened it at the time to being hit by a freight train. Just completely out of the blue. Hadn't even considered it as an option, and it's just your world is just turned upside down in an instant. You know, your mind is on overdrive. You know, you don't know what to do. You don't know who to tell. You don't know what to say. So it was very, very difficult, and she was very, very poorly. The chemotherapy obviously does the trick, but it has a massive impact on the body. Not only the tiredness, but problems with the muscles, to the point where she had difficulty walking. So obviously having to go around in a wheelchair is very difficult for any young person, I think, because people stare.
So we're definitely going on a go weekend.
She did start to feel better. Hair was going back, so she wasn't having the sort of poorly feelings that she had before, and we thought we were doing really well.
That was probably more upsetting this time than it was last time, but I had the feeling that the cancer had come back already, so I'd spent a lot of time upset, obviously. Sorry. Sorry. I'd gone abroad and lived my life and done okay, and then coming back to the UK, it's sort of like all the emotions I'd ignored in 2011 had hit me again. So it was quite like devastating. I think this time it was like losing my hair because it had grown back and I didn't look like I'd ever had cancer. So it was pretty hard.
It's always in the back of your mind, relapse. And certainly, having been through this journey and having met a lot of other parents of children with cancer, it's one of the things that's always there. Always that fear of relapse. So when we found out, it was devastating.
I never thought that I'd die from cancer or anything. I've never felt like that. It's more the fact that I feel like I'm never going to get to go abroad again, or I'm never going to get to travel again, or it's never going to have an end.
She didn't have any hair, so she would always wear a headscarf, but she had a selection of different headscarves that she would wear, depending on what mood of the day. It would depend which headscarf she wore. She got pneumonia, so she had a 5-day stay in QMC in hospital. And it was during that time that I think they realised that there was there was nothing really more that could be done treatment-wise. They tried pretty much everything, and she was deteriorating too quickly. So on the Friday, she was brought home by ambulance for palliative care. We had the community nursing team visit sort of once or twice a day, just to make sure the medication was okay and she was comfortable and pain-free. And she was with us for another 6 days. So finally, we lost her on the 18th of September 2014. You really do lose a part of you. And you lose not just a part of you and them, but their future as well. And it's the life that they haven't had. You know, the chances in life that they haven't had. You know, maybe didn't have the chance to go to school, haven't had the chance to have a boyfriend, girlfriend, haven't had the chance to get married, to do anything in life. And I think it's that loss as well.
Now that all the treatment's over and I'm not back for another 3 months for a scan, I can just focus on getting my health back on track and just getting back to normality, or the new normality.
I think one of the biggest things about childhood cancer is the fact that there's just not enough awareness. I mean, I know I'm guilty of it because before Hannah was diagnosed, it hadn't even sort of crossed my radar either. You occasionally see it in magazines or on the TV and things like that, but you just don't take any notice of it. So yes, you do question yourself sometimes. You think back, well, maybe if I'd known, or been maybe a little bit more aware, if I'd known what sort of symptoms to look for, maybe I could have pushed a bit harder. We don't know.
Looking back on it now, I can understand that you're not meant to know everything. Doctors can't possibly know everything, and maybe this certain doctor hadn't dealt with any childhood cancers or young adults with cancer, so he just thought it was something innocent and wasn't so sinister. So I don't look back with hatred or anything. It's just one of those things. Keep going back and pestering them until you get referred to hospital, because the doctors, surgeries don't have the means necessary to diagnose cancer. The hospitals do, so you need to get referred to the hospital.
I don't want to frighten people, but it's just have that awareness that could be, might not be, but it could be. And if it is, then getting it caught a lot earlier is going to mean a much better prognosis.